Embroidery tension is one of the most common topics in our classes. So what are you actually looking for good embroidery tension? Now, first off, usually you have white thread in your bobbin. So here is a little trick. Notice I'm working on a fairly light color. It is actually white today. And if I have any embroidery tension, it's really hard to see. But here's what you want. Notice how smooth the stitches are. If you ever see any kind of jaggedy looking stitches and you have white bobbin thread and white fabric, it's because you're seeing white bobbin thread coming to the top. Now, what you want to do is really just flip over your design and look that you see some of the color from the top coming to the back. So when you switch over to embroidery, your tension actually adjusts much differently than when you are sewing. So sewing, you're up in that 4 to 5 range. But when you get to the embroidery, it automatically drops you down to 2.8. Now I am on the embroidery stitch out screen, so you only see the tension once you've loaded a design and gone ahead and brought you to the screen where you see your colors. You can press go, you can stitch. That's the only time you need tension, that's why it's over here. So if there's any time that I see bobbin thread showing on the top, the easiest fix is to lower your top tension. So that makes, if I'm sewing with purple, it makes the purple relax a little bit. Lets that bobbin thread do the job of pulling it to the back side just a little bit more. Now most of the time you're not going to notice any difference, but over time, over a period of stitching, and if you haven't changed your needle lately or cleaned your machine, you will also notice this, is sometimes the tension is not as even as it used to be. As machines work, things loosen up, including the bobbin tension. Now you don't change the bobbin tension. We always are altering the top tension, which is right here on screen. We never want to see bobbin thread coming up to the top. So truly, most of the time, you're going to take it to a lower number. Now normal was 2.8. So if I actually was to lower it, I'd bring it down to 2 or 1.8, a whole number's worth, and see if I can get that bobbin thread to become the stronger one. Pull the threads to the back side. So remember the show, no whammy, no whammy. You want no bobbin thread coming up to the top. You want to make sure it stays on the back side. Usually too, when you have designs that have a very thick satin stitch, you'll notice that you'll see a good portion of the color on both sides with the white thread in between. There are times though where if you have any loops that are happening on the top of your fabric, honestly it's usually just changing your needle, we'll fix that. But let's say you have something just a little loose here. Again, you can tighten that top tension too and just make it so it's not so kind of light in stitching. It can kind of tighten it up. So you can always go both ways. If you don't remember which way to go, no big deal. But tension is the one thing that you will finally have to change, and once you start changing a little bit every time, it's time to have your machine serviced. So take it in, have your local Pfaff store give it a good once over, top to bottom, get it back to normal, and it will be all calibrated tension-wise to be perfect, and you won't have to touch it as often. So just kind of keep that in mind. You can always bring it lower and lower. Some of you might be doing some quilting designs, might actually be wanting your thread not to pull to the backside. You want more of a balanced tension. So since it's already low to start off with, you will be raising it. So when those two threads link, whatever's in your bobbin, whatever's in your needle, they're linking between, say, the batting of your quilt. So instead of it pulling to the backside, you actually are going to tighten the top and make it come up into that middle area. So there's a couple tips to get you going. Again, needle cleaning and a full cleaning can make all the difference when it comes to perfect embroidery tension.